Hello and welcome to Stream A of the Mind Matters Initiative Symposium. Our first speaker today is Camille Chan, who is speaking about cyberbullying and mental well-being of veterinarians in Hong Kong, an exploratory qualitative study. Camille is a PhD candidate at the University of Hong Kong, and her research interest focuses on the mental well-being of veterinarians in Hong Kong. She's developed her research interest because of her personal experience of working with medical professionals, and her passion was ignited by the neglected distress observed among veterinary professionals. Camille hopes her study's findings can enhance the mental health of veterinary professionals locally and globally. I'll now hand over to Camille.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I am Camille Chan, and I'm a PhD candidate from the University of Hong Kong. So today I'd like to share with you my research on cyberbullying and mental well-being of vets in Hong Kong. And just a quick note that we are currently still preparing the manuscript for this research. So your comments and your feedback are highly appreciated. There we are. Going a bit fast. Yep, so today the presentation will be split into 4 sessions, starting with why this research was done, how it was done, what we have found, and what's next. So I'm sure we are all aware of the international literatures reported on suicidality and the mental distress of the veterinarians, but we don't have any of these data in Hong Kong. The closest reference we can draw is a market research report, which found that the difficulties running a vet clinic include the high rental costs and the intensive competition among practices. And the difficulties practicing as a vet, again, comes back to the intensive competition, as well as clients' unrealistic expectation. And I'd like to further elaborate these 3 points, starting with the high rental costs. So Hong Kong is a tiny city where 7.4 million of us called home, and the cost of space is rocket high. As we can see, some areas in Hong Kong are among the top 3 of the most expensive rental spaces in the world, which leads us to the next question. Our next point regarding business competition, because it is extremely important that practice owners to be able to sustain the business. So in the slide, the orange highlighted area is a 15 minutes walk around the block. And according to Google Map, within the proximity, there are more than 10 vet practices in this highlighted area. And they are all competing for client retention by meeting their expectations and maximizing their satisfaction. But of course, you'll still have unhappy clients who may either walk away or who may lodge some complaint. Now, a traditional channel of complaint in Hong Kong is through the Vet Surgeon Board. On average, they receive 50 cases per year. And then you can see there are cases that are from years back that are still processing. And the more recent cases in the past 3 years, most of those are still processing. Now, this could be a torture for the vet who has to continuously defend themselves from this possible disciplinary action, as well as for the clients because they are upset enough to lodge this complaint and they had to wait for a few years before they can be processed. So an alternative channel of complaint, arguably, is the social media. So what I've done here is a brief search on Facebook with using the group search function, vets as a keyword. And in the top 7 results, 5 of them encourage negative comments, and they have lots of members in these groups as well. And in one of the group, it says that even if we don't make it a case, we still want to make a fuss out of it. So a vet specialist has also shared her experience being cyberbullied. As you can see in the negative comments in the background roughly translate to "God is watching, be afraid of karma." She also said that different pet owners were chiming into the conversation, often with medically inaccurate information, disparaging comments about their own veterinarians. So this research aims to understand and to explore cyberbullying and mental well-being of vets in Hong Kong. And we are particularly interested in the business competition and the role of clients regarding how those affects mental health of veterinarians, as well as to what extent cyberbullying is affecting the vet profession. So we have invited vets from of companion animal practices for face-to-face interviews. Method of sampling involves the help of the Hong Kong Vet Association and via personal network, mailing, and snowballing. We were interested in the maximum variation in sample in terms of gender, years of practice, country of graduation, and so on. And one point I'd like to make in regards to the country of graduation is that all of the vets currently practicing in Hong Kong were trained overseas. We do have our own vet school very recently that offers BVM program, and we're looking forward to the first cohort of graduates in 2 years' time. So after the 5 months of the fieldwork period, we have recruited 18 participants. Some of them are practice owners, some of them are subcommittees or committees of the Hong Kong Vet Surgeon Board or the Hong Kong Vet Association. Some were facing disciplinary inquiry, and they are from various ethnicity and country of graduation, as well as for other variation of interest. So coming to our first point regarding the idea of business competition, starting from an employee's perspective, vets often found themselves overbooked if the practice owner is a purely business investor because of their mindset that more clients equates to a better profit. But chances are that you'll still lose your client if the vet next door was charging less. Now, some vets tend to keep the knowledge to themselves to maintain the competitive advantage, but while some other vets do not feel comfortable commenting on cases before they have seen the patients themselves. And some would write positive comments of themselves on social media, which can deepen the already fragile relationship within the profession and between the clients and the vets. Now, on top of what has been mentioned by the employees, practice owners find the hyper-competitive business culture in Hong Kong to be stressful because they have to make sure that they stay in business and eventually develop an atmosphere where they won't collaborate with each other, especially when not all of them are equally competent. Now, coming to our second point in terms of the role of clients and their expectations. Young vets often find it difficult to meet clients' expectations because some demand consent for everything and some want efficiency. Vets' efforts are often unrecognized because clients see those as part of their job, along with the worthiness of the expensive bill that they pay. But all this came from the client's love for their animals, which is type of like a parent and child type of love. To an extent where they would visit multiple vets to look for somebody telling them that their pet is just fine. Now, coming to cyberbullying, starting from an Asian's perspective, social media became a channel of collective anger, which can be easily magnified. And even for traditional media, the presence of information disorder, which is the combination of false information and harmful information, they are stressful to vets. The non-confronting culture in Hong Kong may contribute to clients' backstabbing behavior, and not only that vets feel exposed for being a victim of cyberbullying, but also with their online help-seeking behavior, even on vets' exclusive support groups. Now, from a non-Asian perspectives, the macro-political environment, the populism and the democratics have had the society questioning the authorities, which appear to have projected onto veterinarians. Some of the comments made online were exploitative, which may possibly related to the lengthy process of the official complaints, and experienced vets are particularly concerned for the younger generation as they appear to be more engaged with social media. Now, on top of these categories of concern that are quite unique to Hong Kong, we have also found that 15 out of 18 participants have been cyberbullied, and all of them know somebody who has been cyberbullied. Currently, there are about a little more than 1,000 vets practicing in Hong Kong, and some worry that colleagues would gossip behind their back about these comments, as well as the possible impact on their future appointments. Now, despite vets' effort managing clients' expectation, perfect outcome is still the expectations. Vets found themselves living under the fear of their clients' unpredictable action and their own self-criticism. And it is the most stressful when they are publicized with false accusation. It appears that the workplace resources and supports, such as the installation of surveillance camera and being covered by indemnity insurance, are of critical help of these vets. Now, complaints received may not necessarily from those you have seen. It could be from someone who did not come to the clinic who are upset with you. Non-Cantonese speaking appear to shelter vets from clients' initial bursts of anger, and some vets found cyberbullying to be relatively mild compared to an official complaint, which affects not only the mental health, but also the license, the time, and the finance. In summary, Hong Kong is a highly urbanized city and therefore competitive business culture and the tendency of clients' vet hopping behavior. Social media allows the immediate gratification of clients' misfortunate experience. Politics, public health, and societal norms are influential towards one's behavior. Cyberbullying is obviously a critically important issue facing the profession, which influence their mental health as well as their performance. And on top of these stressors unique to Hong Kong, vets are also faced with long working hours, heavy workload, workplace relations matter, moral dilemmas, compassion fatigue, and so on, which were reported on international literatures. So other than the proximity of the vet practices, as well as the lengthy complaint process, which has earlier mentioned, we should also bear in mind that anyone in Hong Kong can own a vet practice, which can be problematic, especially when it comes to ethical boundaries and legal liabilities of business investors. Now, all research comes with limitation. For this research, participation is voluntary, therefore is subjected to bias. Only companion animal vets were invited to the study, which limits our understanding of the other types of vets. And the qualitative nature of the research is interest in the depth of the topic and is not suitable for generalization. We hope that this research provides empirical data for Hong Kong, and we encourage cyberbullying measurements in future mental health related research. We also look forward to larger scale of research in terms of sample size so that we can have generalizable outcomes. And also to consider the possible influence of workplace satisfaction, the influence of workplace satisfaction on vets' mental health. Last but not the least, I would like to thank my academic supervisor, Dr. Paul Wong, for his continuous guidance, the Hong Kong Vet Association, who helped distribute information about this research to their members, as well as all research participants, because they've been sharing very personal experience. They've been sharing their vulnerability with me. The trust they have in me is enormous. And we're currently preparing the manuscript for publication. So if you have any comments, any feedback, please feel free to share with us in the Q&A or to email me. And these are some of the research we've used. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Camille. I mean, a really interesting and important study, and hopefully we'll have some time at the end for some further questions if we get some through on the chat.